Surprising, am I right? Or maybe not, some of you might have already figured it out from the clues from my last video. Anyways, yes, if you couldn't tell by thumbnail or title, Albedo is the other character that is tied with Ito of being in first place of being my favorite character in Genshin Impact. Now that I think about it more, it's kind of ironic. The both of them are just polar opposites of each other. Ito is the lovable goofball of the game while Albedo is the quiet and calculated smart character of the game. And yet, I love them both equally. Or maybe it's because I kinda have a bias with him. He was my very first 5 star and has been in my team for the entire game. He basically carried me before I got Ito. Because before that, I didn't have any good DPS characters. The only ones I've ever used were Traveler and Raider, in which they basically did zero damage. Anyways, I adore his deadpan personality. When he says something, you know he means it. Like that one time he says he can summon 4 Oceanids. At first you think he's joking, but then he gives you that face in which you immediately know he's not joking.
Internally, let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using whatever method comes most naturally to you.
Huh? Doesn't seem very sciencey.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just a simple exercise. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
In my opinion, Albedo has one of the best story quests in the entire game. It's just so good. It had me hooked for the entire quest. And that twist in the end that there were 2 Albedos, it's so good. Anyways, how about I just stop rambling on and let's just get into it. Let me discuss how Albedo has the best story in Genshin Impact. Surprisingly, I quite like his personality. There's just something about his quiet but not actually cold personality. You can tell the guy prefers to be alone in Dragonspine to do his research and experiments, but he's not the generic quiet cold character that never wants to talk with anyone and always wants to be alone. He is willing to socialize with other people, either be it with Klee by taking care of her and Jenny being a good older brother, or it can be with Sucrose and Tameas helping them with their alchemic studies, even people he's never met before like Sarah in the Irodori festival. I also quite like how sweet he can be with the people close to him. For example, his moments with Klee, letting Klee come along to Inazuma for the Irodori festival, or how about when Albedo went to the Golden Apple Archipelago because Klee was abducted by the Dodo King, which I'm pretty certain this was his reaction.
The fucking audacity!
Though in reality, he might have already knew it was Alice's doing all along. For those who don't know who Alice is, it's Klee's mother. If that is the case, which I'm pretty certain it is, he went to the Golden Apple Archipelago to look after Klee and enjoy the summer with her, in which is still pretty sweet. Or how about that other time in the Windbloom Festival, where he created a giant sweet flower for Sucrose because she was searching for one just like it and it was her favorite flower.
There we have it.
Huh. Is this the Windbloom that Sucrose was talking about? It's just a sweet flower.
Have a closer look. Are you sure it's the same as other sweet flowers?
Now that you mention it, why is this sweet flower so big?
So this is the Windbloom created by following this ancient recipe. It really does make me think of Sucrose.
Huh. It does seem like something she would like.
Do sweet flowers this size even count as sweet flowers anymore?
I can say with certainty that yes, they do. Their essence is the same.
But Sucrose said that she transcribed the recipe from an ancient book. Could it be that there were sweet flowers around even in ancient times?
There were indeed sweet flowers in antiquity. This species has a long history.
Seriously? Have sweet flowers really existed all that time?
Yes.
Whoa!
Well then, I must head further into the mountain. I still have painting to do. Perhaps you could pass this on? Traveler, enjoy the celebrations.
Honestly, I find the relationship of Albedo and Sucrose really cute. I'll just say it, I ship them. I find them really cute together. Anyways, I quite like how he's actually smart and not the generic smart character. Do you know what I mean? Those characters in that are smart, but they just go way too overboard with the intelligence of the character. Like they're able to solve problems on their own that are basically impossible to solve without a team of experts in the problem. They're able to create things because they're so smart that are basically physically impossible to create. But Albedo is actually smart. Not only is he a genius in alchemy, which makes sense. That's what he's been doing for the entirety of his life, and both of his teachers are some of the best in alchemy in the world. Hell, I could say the best in the world. Of course, he would be amazing at alchemy. Not only that, he's also a pretty good detective. I was genuinely impressed with Albedo in the Irodori festival, with investigating why Fenty was in a crate and where did he put his invitation, especially where Albedo manages to figure out Shinsho already went to Inazuma and is lying about something, and the way he figured it out really surprised me in a good way. It makes sense. How would Shinsho know the restaurant was open air if this was his first time being in Inazuma? The entirety of the Iridori Festival made me like Albedo more. Honestly, everything about the Iridori Festival I enjoyed, and it made me like more of the characters that were in the event, except for Raiden Shogun. Anyways, back to Albedo. I quite like how straightforward he can be. Like, the guy doesn't have a filter, he just says what he thinks. That's really everything I like about Albedo. That's just like Ito, I don't really have anything I dislike about him. Well, there is that one thing. Remember what the other clue is in my previous video? So the thing that I dislike about him the most is his hair. Just like Ito, in the art he has very beautiful hair. Like, oh my god, it's so good looking. But then in game, ugh. Seriously, again, how hard can it be? I found this edit of Albedo with the hair in the art and it looks so good. You cannot disagree that this doesn't look better than what we got. This is just more examples of Hoyoverse laziness. They made four different skins in under a week. I'm not certain how long did it took them, but I'm pretty certain it's still pretty fast. They have all these resources and they don't even bother fixing some of their characters' models. But anyways, that's all my thoughts on Albedo as a character. Overall, he has a very strong personality and character and makes me intrigued to know more about him and his past. I absolutely love Albedo's story quest. It's just a combination of everything I like in a story quest. A good introduction for the character, interesting dialogue, a great story, and wanting me to know more about him. Even before we meet Albedo, we get a little introduction for him that makes me excited to meet him. It introduces him as the chief alchemist of the Knights of Avonius, which is a grand title to have, as well as the teacher of Sucrose and Tameas. Also, I'm pretty certain he is the head of the investigation team of the Knights of Avonius. That can explain why he's such a good detective. Anyways, we finally introduced to Albedo in person, and I immediately got hooked on his character. The first time we ever meet him is when he was painting a portrait of a particular hilly troll. I like how this scene introduces one of the main characteristics of Albedo, his love for painting things he finds interesting as well as painting in general. Painting is one of the main attributes that makes him a character. Hell, in every story quest or event he has been, he always painted at least one portrait. I think the only time he never painted is in the original Golden Apple Archipelago event, though I can be wrong with that because it has been a long time since that event. The main thing I really enjoyed about this story quest, ho- how it's just about Albedo doing experiments to the traveler and trying to uncover the secrets of the traveler. I find that a really interesting concept because the traveler has a lot of mystery with them. For example, how are they able to control multiple elements? What world were they going next before they met the unknown god? How long was it when they got attacked by the unknown god? And many more. This story quest focuses on the first question. How are they able to control multiple elements? The entirety of the story quest revolves around this question, and I enjoyed it. All of the experiments and the theories he comes up with are all logical. Well, maybe except for the experiments. And maybe it has to do with the traveler's biology because they're from another world. Also, I'm pretty certain Albedo is one of the few characters that actually acknowledges the traveler is from another world. Anyways, maybe the traveler has some sort of special ability that can make them control the elements. Or maybe someone gave the traveler the ability to control the elements. But in the end, we weren't able to find the real answer. And that ending, it made me want to have more appearances of Albedo in story quest, arc conquest, and events. This right here encapsulates why I love Albedo. He just has an amazing story, the best in the entire game in my opinion. And without the story quest, we wouldn't have this beautiful image. So let us move on to Albedo's second story quest, or event quest. I don't really know what to call it. If Albedo's story quest was a 10 for me, this one was a 20. Everything that made Albedo's original story quest so good in my eyes, they just took it and made everything 10 times better, and made this officially my most favorite story quest in the entire game. The main thing I'm pretty certain a majority of people like the most about the story quest was Albedo and the imposter Albedo, which I like calling Susbedo for now. So from now on, I'll be calling him that. I'll be focusing on Albedo and Susbedo parts of the story because that's the most interesting. I did quite like the inclusion of Eula, Amber, and Bennett. I found them quite enjoyable, and plus, it's good to see Amber and Bennett again. We haven't seen them in a while. Anyways, back to Albedo. This story quest revealed a lot about Albedo, and I want to know more. First things, first things first, we were correct about how Albedo was a homunculus or an artificial human, and secondly, that there were actually two Albedos. I love how they introduced Sospedo by acting as Albedo when he went to try to catch the thief. For those with a keen eye, you can very much tell something is wrong with Albedo. He doesn't have the star in his throat anymore, and the way he speaks, it has some sort of malice to it. It doesn't sound like Albedo. The majority of the time, he's pretty emotionless. He rarely shows emotion, but here you can tell that there's some hatred in his words.
Yes, it's all the thief's fault. The notes mean a lot to me. I'm not quite ready to give up the search yet. Let's keep an eye out for clues as we go.
Oh, just one thing. Do you want us to bring all this ore back, or did you want to sort through and get rid of the useless bits first? There's no point in bringing the bad ones back if it'll ruin the quality of the paint. Some of them do look pretty dull to Paimon, so it doesn't seem like those will be of any use at all.
Indeed. The sorting process is necessary. Humans are such practical creatures. They only want those things that are good. Once they have learned to distinguish between good and bad, they will never stop comparing things in their minds. Useless things should be disposed of at the outset.
Which I love. It just puts a air of mystery. You aren't sure if this is Albedo. He's acting weird. Then they did it again after the avalanche and that amazing reveal near the end.
Albedo, what?
It's not over yet!
It's just so good. And that ending. It's honestly a shame that this story quest was a limited event and not a Archon quest because it's very lore heavy as well as just being amazing. It's a shame some people missed out on the story quest because it's one of those story quests that just feels better experiencing it yourself rather than watching it on a video. I really do hope that we will get an Archon quest that just focuses on Albedo and his story. Because if this is on only a small piece of the story that we will get for Albedo, I'm excited for what they can bring for the future. So that's all my thoughts on Albedo and what makes me believe that he has the best story in the entire game. It's so rare for me to be interested for the entirety of a story quest or Archon quest because most of the time they just keep on talking about things that I don't care about. But Albedo's, I was interested for every second of it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's a perfect story quest. There's still some flaws to it, but the positives really just outweigh the negatives, so I'll just ignore them. And if we do get more of Albedo, either be it with events, story quest, or Archon quest, I just hope it's at the same level at his second one. Hell, I'd be surprised if they manage to surpass it, but I have doubts. I really do hope they don't mess up with Albedo because as it stands, he has the best story in the game, and I don't want that to change. So anyways, that's the end. Thank you for watching the video to the end. If you're wondering what's my next video, I'll be doing a Lobotomy Corporation video just to mix up things because if I just keep on doing Genshin videos, I'll sooner or later will get burned out from it. After that, I'll be doing another Genshin video. I'm not gonna reveal who character I am gonna reveal, but I'm probably not gonna do a character this time. So yeah. Then after that, I'm not sure anymore what video I'll make next. So bye bye.